Welcome back to Freedom Free For All. My name is Josh Steffler. I want to thank Paul for hosting the Shaw version. This is the online version of Freedom Free For All, where we can say whatever we want and do whatever we want and whatever we want. We're not restricted by CRTC rulings. So for our viewers watching on the live stream, the reason I'm not on the show during the Shaw portion is I'm running in the BC election for the Libertarian Party. And Shaw doesn't let us broadcast with me on. Apparently you can't be a show host and a candidate at the same time. Can't wear different hats. You guys have been having an amazing conversation. I was watching online. There was tons of people watching, tons of questions.
I just imagine the people that you've met over the years that have been touched by the law in a negative way, and how this has kind of maybe given them a new hope.
Well, you could say that, but then a lot of those people have died.
Yeah.
In fact, working in medical cannabis, I've got to know a lot of people in the end-of-life care. And so many of my friends have passed away. It's one of the realities of it. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So have you heard of a lady in town named Corey Yelland?
Yeah, I know Corey.
Yeah, she's really amazing. We met her when Rick Simpson came to town doing his Run from the Cure. Amazing lady. They're doing a podcast, her and Ian Jessup, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently Ian got kicked off of mainstream media. They're doing new media now as well, so shout out to Ian and Corey. Because she kept coming on, and they were like, CFAX was getting callers from Amsterdam, from the Netherlands, from all over the world. There was like, it was such a popular show, and you know, people are hungry for this kind of information on cannabis.
Yes, but it is controversial.
It shouldn't
when you
be.
talk about cancer.
Yeah.
One of the reasons is that people consider cancer patients, especially those who are in the late stages, almost like desperate for a solution. Mm-hmm. And if somebody comes along and tells you that you got something that's going to fix it, then you almost got them, right?
Yeah.
Well, with Corey, she treated herself with cannabis oil rectally.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And cured herself.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just like it's a cure. It's literally gone. The doctors have said there's no cancer whatsoever.
Yeah.
She had cervical
cannabis oil. Yeah, no, she had
she had perhaps rectal cancer and
colon cancer. Yeah. Amazing woman, champion, and same with that movie that Rick Simpson put together himself. Like, some people call the cannabis oil the Rick Simpson oil, or Phoenix Tears, right?
Yeah.
So it's amazing that we live in 2017 and they're still throwing people in jail for treating diseases themselves with flower extracts rather than dangerous pharmaceuticals and dangerous chemo and radiation. They tell us that radiation causes cancer, so we're going to treat your cancer with radiation to get rid of the cancer. And chemo, doesn't it have like a 94% fail rate?
I don't know.
It's really high. I have
I
personal experience with chemo. My father had cancer, and he was doing okay, had chemo, and he was dead within days. It just destroyed him.
I had a family member as well, my younger sister. She got skin cancer, the same kind of skin cancer as Rick Simpson that he uses oil on. But when that happened, nobody had heard of Rick Simpson at that time, and we wasn't familiar with the oil being used on people's skin lesions, which is what Rick was doing.
Yeah.
And my sister had surgeries and chemotherapy, and they didn't work. And it was only a year after contracting this very dangerous form of cancer, which is on the rise with Caucasian people. That you should know. It's melanoma, skin cancer. And she used cannabis as part of her treatment alongside chemotherapy, so she could eat and sleep and be more comfortable and really be able to talk. She was in such a discomfort. She couldn't talk. She couldn't communicate with your family. And in your last the family knows you're going to pass away. That just compounds the difficulties when you can't communicate during that last period of time. So a great miracle was witnessed by my family, who were against cannabis previously. They had no knowledge of its medical use, but they saw it. And you know, when your child goes from that state, incapacitated, to asking you to take them out to dinner and finishing the plate, smiling and laughing, there's nothing more you could want in the world.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Yeah.
So, have any of the political parties in BC, have any of them like talked to you about cannabis platforms, or like what would be the ideal situation for you with this upcoming BC election? Is there anything that political parties can do to make BC a freer place for cannabis, both as medicine and recreational use?
It would be good to hear their to start where they stand, because provincial parties, especially Christy Clark, she's deferred to the federal government when asked.
Yeah.
It's a federal jurisdiction. Well, this week it may well be passed down
To provincial.
right, and certain parts of this legalization scheme are going to rely on the provinces. And since BC is such a large cannabis economy, this should be a very important issue for a lot of people out there, and maybe people who were disenfranchised previously and wouldn't vote would vote because this is the first time they've got a chance to make a difference on the issue they care about.
Wow.
Well, as the deputy leader of the BC Libertarian, I can talk about our policy, which would be that we favor a path to legalization that recognizes cannabis use as medicine, respects people's privacy, and allows fair access to the markets for both producers, retailers, and consumers. And we would also pledge to release everyone that's in jail for cannabis-related offenses in British Columbia, and we would also halt the payment, or at least control the payment to the drug war with the Canada or the BC policing services. There are quite a few things that provincial parties can do. I mean, it's kind of weak sauce to say, that's federal. We can't do anything. We can do something.
Well,
So,
it's the allocation of police resources
Yeah.
towards
And
a specific offense, right?
yeah. And the BC parties, I've tried to find their policies from the Liberals, the NDP, and even the Greens. You'd think that the Greens would be all aboard, and there's nothing from them. But
Well, then it's going to take center stage, I think, if when we hear on Thursday, right?
yeah,
I think that should start the conversation. It should force a certain aspects of it. I think distribution was one of the main provincial responsibilities. You have to decide whether you want it in provincially designated stores like liquor, or you allow private outlets, and what are those rules going to be?
yeah.
So that's definitely a big player.
Well, we favor when I say we, I say the Libertarian Party. We favor the dispensary model, like storefront. That's the mail order situation. Just it doesn't work for users. It doesn't work for patients. It's not great. And
There are some people who would really benefit from mail order, especially if you
Yeah.
live out in the middle of nowhere.
but we
here
wouldn't
in-
restrict it to that. That's the thing. And we would also open it up to more than just dispensaries. We're talking cafes, bars, places where people can consume safely, like the Green Ceiling, only much more widespread.
Yeah, and I guess something I wanted to ask you earlier in the show was, where do you see the cannabis industry in like 10 or 15 years? What's its potential?
Well, it looks like it's ramping up fast, right? You asked me 5 years ago, and it would have been a different answer. The fact that we've elected a government with a platform to do it, even if they don't do it, is something that's shocked people.
That's right.
Back in the 1970s, there was a major movement, especially in medical marijuana, and doctors were involved, and it all got squashed and pushed away. So it's hard to say that we are on steady tracks towards freedom, but I think I think there'll be great transformations in how cannabis is consumed, and that will change how people perceive the consumers. I think right now people are being lumped in a smoking category, and we'll see that very often in the media. And you'll find in the future that smoking cannabis will not happen nearly as much. It's a novelty, but it will be distributed in other ways. Like people can isolate, like I was mentioning, the shatter.
Yeah.
Well, there's something that does 100% or near 100, 99. It's called isolate. And people are making that these days. That's even stronger, you know, but it's totally clean. And what you can do is you can dissolve that, standardized, pure substance into a product that then can be distributed. So I think there's going to be some changes in the production line to allow for better efficiency. That's going to include extract producers and processors to get that standardization that everybody wants. Yeah.
And so the quantities of scale are going to likely grow through that innovative manufacturing process as well.
Well, right now, Canada's building some of the largest greenhouses in the world to grow cannabis. We'll see whether or not that cannabis is, how the regulations go, whether or not that cannabis is going to be the cannabis which is popular with people.
Do you think they should set a price point on a gram of weed?
I think it could be left up to the market to drive it down.
Yeah.
And one of the things that there was another court case alongside mine, a parallel case about growing your own cannabis called the Allard Case. And in that case, it was made clear that the fear mongering that's done in the media is no evidence. It does not count. And even if you're a police officer, you can't get up in court and quote from media articles, especially if they refer to illegal operations. So what you're dealing with is people hiding, and you're not talking about people who are regulated, like the medical marijuana growers that were being challenged at that time. They were not causing anyone a risk, and the government was wrong, and that's why growing in Canada still persists. It's because of a large coalition of people who bonded together for that.
Beautiful.
So we'll keep working together and bonding together. I think even the dispensaries could use industry association. That there's been a few industry associations emerge and then dissipate. You'd see something more solid come out and give them all a collective voice. We're only a few years into some of these places being open at all, and these people coming out of the closet and being bold enough to do that. So we are hoping that through things like the Cannabis Digest and other new media, that people will be bold enough to bond together and see the past as the past. Our differences as our differences, and our unity is what makes us strong. And if we want to provide the service we all want to do, we can get there together.
So what do you like most about the Cannabis Digest?
Well, I like that it's independent, and we have grown from what was just a fold out to 44 pages.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's become something much more. It's something that was started in kind of as a flashlight to point on ourselves, because we're breaking the law, but we're doing the right thing. We want people to know that, because if we leave the storytelling up to the big guys, then
they'll fearmonger.
Then they'll still tell the same old story.
Right.
So this is a way for us to start to, and online.
Nice.
To get it out there that we're breaking the law. We're providing marijuana to people, but it's not bad. It's not for profit, and these are the people, and this is how it's benefiting them, and learn more. There's so much to learn.
Are you still writing articles yourself? And
yeah, I wrote an article in this one about in the end about shatter, which I talked about a little bit earlier. There's my article in this one. I made a little chart to show the strengths of commonly used extracts, so people can see the jump from your regular herb to your black hash is much larger than your jump from your black hash to your shatter. So you should be, if you're worried about the potency, you should start off with a dry herb, and you can work your way up. And as the tolerance rises, as it does, especially for chronic medical users, You need something that is pure, otherwise you're consuming an awful lot of impurities to get what you're going for. So there's that, and I have a little diagram of the trichome resin head set, and how it produces cannabinoids. That's an important fact that we established in the Supreme Court.
I'm looking forward to getting into that. Yeah. I know that we have to wrap up here soon, but you used to be a baker. I don't know, you might still bake, I don't know what you do, but well, maybe you're a full-time baker. So, any like golden nuggets to pass along, and for people that might want to make butter at home, or any golden recipes? Or?
We were always about people taking care of themselves and providing them with the recipes so they can do it themselves. If they can grow it themselves, then they're saving money, and it's therapeutic as well to make your own medicine. And you know how you like it too. If you're making a cookie, you know what you want. So you can go on to CBCOC Canada on Google, or you could do CBCOC recipe book, and that will give you all the recipes that I used, all the proportions that we used, and pictures of all the products too, so you can make exactly what I always made.
It's like a treasure chest.
Oh, it's got video tutorials as well. A short video tutorials on how to extract butter, and how to make a salve, and some of those types of things. Yeah, and you can read about how to make a suppository in the last.
Oh, that's actually good. I was wondering about suppositories. That's maybe a call for a different show, but that's actually a fascinating subject as well. Yeah.
All right, well, I think we got to wrap this up. So I want to thank Owen Smith for coming into our studio here, Freedom Studios, and talking cannabis with us. It's amazing, a pleasure to meet you, an honor. Thank you for your service for freedom and liberty. Thank you to everyone out there that is watching the show. We do this for you guys. We bring the information to you. Hopefully you can like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to freedomfreeforall.com and check out some of our older shows. We've got plenty of shows for every issue that is under the sun. And be sure to tune in next week when we do our 420 show. I believe we're skipping the Tuesday show for a live 420 show.
Live 420 from the Truth Truck.
From the Truth Truck, the other co-host of the show. So thank you for tuning in. Be safe and be free.
Thank you.